Do you want to know the real foundation of being unmessable with? It isn't mindset, it isn't hustle, it's your word, period. My name is Josselyne Herman-Saccio, and today I want to talk to you about the muscle that holds your whole life together, the integrity and honor of your word. Here's what most successful people don't realize. You can deliver million-dollar results for your clients, run a seven-figure business, and manage teams of dozens. But if you can't keep a simple promise to yourself, you're hemorrhaging power at every single moment. So let me ask you this. If you say you'll do it, do you? Not just when it's easy, not just when it's exciting, but when it's inconvenient, boring, uncomfortable. This is the discipline of mastery. And for those of you that have been following my work for a while, you know that I've been in the transformative coaching business for over 35 years. I've worked with 200,000 people, and all of them high performers in their own right. And I can tell you this with absolute clarity. The entrepreneurs who become truly unmessable with, the ones that actually build sustainable, growing success without burning out, they all have one thing in common. It's not their morning routine and it's not their productivity system. It is the power and honor of their word. Most people have no idea how much power they lose by breaking their word, especially to themselves. So according to research from PMC studies on brain plasticity, every time you break a commitment to yourself, you are literally rewiring your brain from proactive to reactive patterns. You are training yourself to be weaker, not stronger. But here's what's fascinating, and it's what I train people in all of the work that I do. Your word is not just about doing what you say, it's about designing a life that you can fulfill on. So here's the first point, the hidden power leak. Why breaking your word to yourself is completely killing your success. Let me tell you about Sarah, okay? She is a client who came to me running a $3 million consulting firm. On paper, she had everything figured out. She could deliver complex projects for Fortune 500 companies, manage a team of dozens, and close deals that most people only dreamt about. But here's what was happening kind of behind the curtain. Sarah would set her alarm for 5 a.m. to work out. Then she'd hit snooze 3 times. She'd commit to leaving the office by 6 p.m. to have dinner with her family. And then, of course, she'd find herself there until 9 p.m. just finishing one more thing and one more thing. She'd promise herself that she would take weekends off, and then she'd spend Saturday mornings answering emails and finishing up reports. Does this sound familiar? Can you resonate with this? Here's what she didn't realize, and what most high achievers miss. Every broken promise to yourself is a vote against your own reliability. Neuroscience research shows that practicing inhibitory control, the ability to follow through on commitments, literally shifts brain activity from reactive to creative patterns. But when you consistently break promises to yourself, you're doing the opposite. You're training your brain to expect failure. Think about it this way. If you had a business partner who constantly broke their word to you, they didn't show up, they were late, they didn't deliver, how long would you trust them with important decisions? Yeah, that's exactly what we do to ourselves every day. The real cost isn't the missed workout or the late dinner. The real cost is the erosion of self-trust. And when you don't trust yourself, you can't make bold decisions. You second guess everything. You become reactive instead of creative. And you start managing life instead of leading it from your vision. This is why so many successful entrepreneurs feel stuck despite their external achievements. You know, they have the results, but not the fulfillment. They've built businesses they can't trust themselves to run without constant oversight because they've never learned to trust themselves with the small things. People justify breaking the small promises, but I'm telling you, it's the same mode, it's word. So the second point is the mastery paradox, why successful people struggle most with self commitment. Here's something that actually might surprise you. The more successful you become externally with the accolades and the results, the harder it often becomes to keep commitment to yourself. I call this the mastery paradox. When you're accountable to clients or investors or team members, there are external consequences for breaking your word. I mean, if you miss a client deadline and you'll lose money, right? Or if you break a promise to your team, you might lose respect or authority. But if you break a promise to yourself, the only person who knows is you. This is exactly what happened to me way early in my career. I was building my coaching practice, I was building my entertainment company, and I was incredibly disciplined about client commitments. I would move mountains to deliver for them. But my personal commitments, I kind of treated them as good ideas, suggestions, but not etched in stone at all. I would commit to reading for 30 minutes every morning to kind of stay sharp, and then I'd skip it because I had too much client work to do, or I promised myself I would really take a lunch break and then I'd eat at my desk while I was answering emails or calls. I'd set boundaries around weekend work. I'd say, no, I'm going to really spend my weekend with my family. And then I'd totally break them if client had an urgent request or a seeming emergency from their point of view. What I didn't understand then, but what the research shows on dopamine and goal achievements makes clear now, is that your brain doesn't distinguish between the importance of different commitments. I mean, think about that. You're constantly justifying why it's okay to break certain commitments and not others, but your brain doesn't distinguish between breaking promises to yourself and breaking promises to others. So you are weakening the same neural pathways that help you follow through on everything when you break a promise to yourself. Just because you're the only one who knows is irrelevant. The entrepreneurs who become fully unmessable with understand this. They know that self-commitment isn't separate from professional success. It's the foundation of it. When your word to yourself is strong, your word to others becomes unshakable. This is exactly what I work with people on in my mastery program, how to make internal commitments as sacred as external ones. Because here's the truth. You can't give what you don't have. And if you can't trust yourself, how can you expect others to trust you at the highest level? You can't. Third point, the 3 pillars of word integrity, the real framework. So after working with thousands of high performers over, 3.5 decades, I've identified 3 pillars that separate those who master their word from those who remain stuck in cycles of broken promises, whether it's to others or themselves. The first pillar is saying no to what is not aligned with your vision. This isn't about being difficult or uncooperative or something. It's about strategic rejection. Most people break their word because they say yes to things that they should have said no to in the first place. It's not an authentic yes. I had a client, Marcus, who ran a digital marketing agency. And he was constantly overwhelmed, constantly behind on his personal commitments, and constantly frustrated and exhausted. And when we dug into it and dove a little deeper, we discovered that he was saying yes to every opportunity that came his way, even ones that didn't align with his core business or his personal vision or values. The breakthrough came when Marcus learned to ask himself one simple question before making any commitment. And the question was, if I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? Usually, he was saying no to his health and well-being or his family or his strategic priorities without even realizing it before he started asking himself that question. Strategic rejection isn't about limiting yourself. It's about creating space for what matters most to you. When you're clear about your vision and what you want to accomplish and fulfill, saying no becomes like an act of integrity, not selfishness. The second pillar is saying yes and showing up fully, not half-assing it. This is where a lot of people get it wrong. They think commitment is like binary in some way. You either do it or you don't. But real integrity is about the quality of your commitment and action, not just the completion of the task. Half-hearted commitments are like broken commitments waiting to happen. If you commit to working out for 30 minutes, but spend 20 minutes checking your phone and scrolling, your broken word to yourself is right there. And if you commit to being present at dinner, but you're mentally reviewing your to-do list, you've broken your word to your family. Even if they don't know it, you do. And you're the one who has to sleep with yourself. Full commitment means bringing your complete presence and attention and energy to whatever you've promised. It means being there where you are, when you are, doing what you said you'd do with focus and intensity that it deserves. The third pillar is cleaning up when you drop the ball. A lot of people try and avoid when they've dropped the ball, hide it, cover it up. But what separates masters from everyone else is they know that perfection is not the game. Restoration is. You are going to break commitments. You are going to break promises. You will have to revoke your word at times. You will drop the ball. You are human. The question isn't whether it will happen. It's how will you handle it when it does. Most people, when they break a commitment to themselves, just pretend it didn't happen, right? You don't deal with it. It's just to yourself. They move on without acknowledging it, without learning from it, without restoring the honor of their word. This is how you train yourself to accept broken promises as normal. It totally normalizes not honoring your word. Masters do something different. They have a restoration process. They acknowledge what happened. They identify what led to the breakdown, like what was the source of it. They make a new commitment, have a new word in the matter that addresses the root cause, and they follow through on that new commitment with even more intensity, with even more honor. This creates a closed loop system where you either win or you learn, but you never just fail. Every breakdown becomes a setup for a stronger comeback. That's key. The fourth point is the completion tracking breakthrough, real transformation in action. So let me share something that happened in one of my recent coaching calls, okay, that perfectly illustrates the power of the work that I'm talking about. One of my clients, a successful investor, she's built a portfolio of more than $10 million, but she came to me because despite her external success and accomplishments, she felt completely out of control in her personal life. She was constantly overwhelmed, constantly behind, constantly disappointed in herself, suffering from burnout. Very, very common, actually. She had tried everything in terms of productivity apps, time management systems, hiring more staff, and nothing worked because she was treating the symptoms, not the source of the breakdown. So we started with something incredibly simple: completion tracking. So every day she would write down 3 commitments to herself, not huge things, not life-changing commitments, simple, keepable promises. Like, I promised to drink 64 ounces of water today, or I promised to read 15 minutes before bed, or I promised not to check email before 9 a.m. Simple things. And at the end of each day, she would mark each commitment as complete or not complete. That's it. No drama, no judgment, no explanations, no reason, just data, like a scientist. So here's what ended up happening. In the first week, she completed about 60% of her commitments. She was frustrated, but I told her just keep going, keep tracking. And by week 2, she was at 70%. By week 4, she was consistently hitting 85 to 90%. But here's the remarkable part of this whole thing. And this is what she shared on our call. Her confidence started exponentially increasing, not from external praise, not from business results, but from self-trust, being able to take her word to the bank. For the first time in years, she told me, when I tell myself I'm going to do something, I actually believe me. I mean, it could move you to tears. At least it moves me to tears. I mean, every single I say X and you do X, it's retraining your brain. And the compound effect is extraordinary. Her business results didn't just maintain their success, they accelerated. The team started trusting her decisions more because she was making them from a place of clarity, not reactivity and second guessing. Her family relationships improved because she was present when she said she'd be present. and all from tracking simple daily completions. You could get started on that right now. The fifth point is the ultimate power move when your word becomes unshakable or unmessable with, as I like to say. Here's what happens when you master the honor and integrity of your word. You become unmessable with, period. Not because you're perfect, not because you have perfect circumstances, not because you never face challenges, but because you have built an unshakable foundation of self-trust that allows you to navigate any situation that life is throwing at you from a place of power and vision, not reactivity or shoulds or goods or bads or rights or wrongs. When your word is strong, your power is unshakable. You make decisions faster because you trust yourself to follow through. You don't question yourself. You take bigger risks because you know you're going to do what it takes to succeed at whatever goal or game you create. You set stronger boundaries because you know you'll maintain them. You don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to negotiate with your own word. People feel this energy. Clients trust you more. Team members respect you more. Your family feels more connected and secure with you, not because you're demanding it, but because you're demonstrating it through the honor and integrity of your word. This is the real flex, not the external trappings of success, the cars, the houses, the titles. Those things can be taken away. But when your word is your bond, when your integrity is unshakable, you have something that no one can touch. That's mastery. That's what it means to truly be unmessable with. And the entrepreneurs who understand this, who make their word their superpower, who use their word as their wand, they don't just build successful businesses. They build sustainable success and legacy. They create freedom, not just wealth. They design lives they can trust, not just careers they can manage. So here's what I want you to understand. Your word isn't just about keeping promises. It's about designing a life you can trust. It's about building the foundation that makes everything else possible. So now that you understand why your word is the real foundation of power, you need to know the specific system for rebuilding self-trust after years of broken promises, not only to other people, but to yourself. And knowing what to do and knowing how to do it consistently are two very different things. So if you want to go to the gym and build your word of self-trust and power, schedule an exploration call with me, and we can look and see what structures I have available to support you in what you're creating. I would love to explore what you're creating and see if I can be a support to you fulfilling on it. All right, we'll see you on the next episode of Be Unmessable With, the podcast.